Hi there everyone, GuardianE here with another live reaction and first impression video for Fire Emblem Heroes. Tonight we're getting the reveal of the next Mythic hero, I think, yeah, Mythic, to drop into the game in just a couple of days. So I have the trailer pulled up here. I have not seen the thumbnail or the title. I have it pulled up and I'm not looking at my screen. We're going to go ahead and hit play, watch together blind for the first time, and then of course give it another look after that to evaluate the unit and the banner as a whole. So let's get into it. Wait for that text to leave. There we go. Alright. See what we got here. Wait, oh, it's a legendary hero. Oh, I was wrong. I don't know why my order was all... Who? Oh, it's Ninian. Okay.
Is that our world will one day become
Ice Dragon Oracle. I like the little icicle effects around her, like kind of like the icicle crown she's got. It's pretty nice. So she is going to be a green dragon. Faithful Breath, Catch skill, a Trace skill. Wait, is she a flyer? I guess she's a flyer then. So she's not going to have like a unique... Oh, that's really cool. I like the array of beams. That's pretty neat. Oh no! She's taking out Elliewood. Oh wait, no, she's dancing Elliewood. I did not read the room right. Oh, she refreshed and refreshed herself as well. Is that really what we're going for here? Oh boy. Okay. Okay. Well, we'll take a closer look at everything, but that sounds pretty good. All right, so we got Mila, Reagan as well on the banner. Lilina, okay, not. Got some Byleth action. Got Tyne on there. Fallen Lilith. Oh, Fallen Ninian. Xander, Florina. Interesting, they've like doubled up on a bunch of different characters. It's an interesting selection that they've picked for this time around. So starting on the 29th and extending until the 12th of October. Anything else noteworthy here? Nope, just that FEH Pass users, subscribers, will have access to a Spark, of course, as usual. So certainly not what I would call a big surprise by any measure. I think Ninian was definitely on the list that most people expected to happen at one point or another. It kind of feels like Intelligence Systems is kind of running through the checklist of like the most obvious picks for legendary heroes. And we did just get Deirdre not too long ago, and here we've got Ninian, and I know a lot of Ninian fans are going to be really happy about that. So yeah, okay, well. Again, I think that's a pick that's to be expected and not terribly surprising, and one that is well-deserved. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at her skills and her art. Oh, so I was wrong. She is not a flyer. She is, in fact, a cavalry unit. It was probably obvious from the gameplay, and I just missed her movement. But yeah, so she is going to be a cavalry dragon, green dragon, in fact. Brianna Knickerbocker, of course, reprising her role, always doing a fantastic job as the voice for Ninian. And I like the art, the floating dragonstone there. She even has kind of the energy array around her. I don't know if that's going to be in her actual art or if it's just for this the purposes of this trailer, but obviously that's the effect that her sprite animation and attack animation uses. So that's pretty neat to see that implemented into her actual art. And of course you do see some icy influence and icy elements to her outfit, given that she is the Ice Dragon Oracle, right? Her crown itself looks like it's made of fragmented ice, and then the azure jewel as part of her cloak. And then she even has a string of what looks like almost icicle adornments coming off of her belt or sash that's going around. And it does look like you have some delicate and low-impact patterning on the form-fitting dress as it hugs her figure all the way down. You do have some, looks like a string of snowflake patterns coming down. And I think they did a pretty great job of capturing the gentle demeanor that we know Ninian to have. So she is going to be a cavalry green dragon. And thinking back to the other Ninians that are available in the game so far, I think that is a unique color and movement combination, if I'm not mistaken. So Ninian Emblem, possibility, of course, being comprised mostly of dancers makes it a little bit more difficult. But yeah, still potentially an option. So taking a look at her kit here, Faithful Breath is going to be her weapon, 16 Might Dragonstone. Grants attack +3. If Sing or Dance is used, inflicts defense res -6 on nearest foes within 4 spaces of both unit and target ally through their next actions. I like that little bit of extra coverage there, both she and her ally, so that's going to be, what is it, a snag effect, essentially, more or less. At start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 40%, grants attack speed +6 to unit during combat. And also, if unit initiates combat, neutralizes effects that prevent unit's follow-up attacks, and also if unit initiates combat and has weapon triangle advantage, or penalty is active on foe, foe cannot counterattack. And then the adaptive damage. Okay, alright, so there's a nice combination of a medley of different effects here. One being a great support effect for, naturally, for whoever she's dancing, that is going to debilitate the enemy's defenses that are closest to her and the recipient of the dance, and so therefore that's going to just improve the offensive capability of both she and her ally there, which is nice. And then the second component to the weapon is centered around Ninian rather than her support capabilities. It's going to boost her offensive capability. Attack and speed are going to be get a nice in-combat buff as long as she has an HP threshold, and if she's player phasing, she gets to follow-up attack unhindered, which is really great. So that does mean that she's probably going to have some pretty decent speed then if she's going to be relying on that speed stat. And then also, if unit initiates combat and has a weapon triangle advantage or penalty is active on the foe. So that's a unique set of conditions. Also not terribly difficult to achieve. Putting a penalty, there's so many ways to put some sort of a penalty on a foe. And in fact, we already know that her dancing will bestow a penalty on the nearest foe within 4 spaces as well. So that's a very, very easy way to activate the penalty. But of course, if she just has weapon triangle advantage, she will also have the ability to have a sweep effect on her weapon, wherein the foe can't counterattack at all. And then adaptive damage, which is just stock standard on Dragonstones. So there's a lot of good stuff baked in there. Dragon's Dance, so it's going to be her own unique assist. Grants another action to target ally. If used on turn 2 onward, also grants another action to unit. I see. Grants attack speed +6 to unit and pair up cohort, if any, for 1 turn, and inflicts isolation on unit and pair up cohort through their next actions. I see. Okay. Effects that can trigger on turn 2 onward will not trigger again for 3 turns after triggering. Cannot target an ally with Sing or Dance. This skill is treated as Sing or Dance. Okay, alright. So they do have some measures in place to try to balance this out a little bit here, right? It has this unique function of being gated by the turn. So irrespective of the turn, it'll always activate as a dance, right? She'll always be able to just refresh another unit. But if it's used on turn 2 onward, which is... it's really easy, as long as it's not on turn 1 and you're just not making an immediate blitz or like a 1-turn clear. So you're going to be able to invoke the secondary effect, which is essentially that Ninian herself will be able to enjoy a refresh of her own after performing the dance. And then it's going to inflict, she's going to get her own buff, an activated buff, which will, of course, will stack on top of the in-combat buff from her weapon. So she's going to be enjoying a lot of offensive capability there, as well as, of course, the debuff on the enemy from Faithful Breath, which will also activate the secondary condition of the sweep effect of the weapon too. So it all works together here, which is pretty nice. So there is this additional safeguard: effects that can trigger on turn 2 onward will not trigger again for 3 turns after triggering. So what that means is that she can dance every turn. She can dance as much as she wants every turn once. However, the self-refresh only happens once every 3 turns and can only happen from turn 2 onwards. So they are kind of balancing it out that way. So it has the potential to be very powerful. And bear in mind that she is going to be a cavalry unit, so she is going to have pretty extensive movement range built in addition to whatever other shenanigans, like having Sigurd on your team, so she has another tile in addition to that. So, and there's a lot of really annoying combinations that they could work in here to take advantage of the fact that she can attack after dancing. Attack Speed Catch 4 is an excellent A-slot skill, and that's going to work perfectly with her Faithful Breath, since that is going to be able to inflict that penalty, that debuff on the opponent when she does do a dance. So that's going to work very well there, so she gets that condition met. Speed Res Near Trace 3, naturally that's going to be very useful for her as a cavalry unit to have that extra Kanto movement, in addition to the in-combat debuff. And then Blue Feud 3, not the most versatile skills in the world, but certainly when dealing with certain challenges and scenarios, it's certainly going to be helpful, although I think that most people are probably going to opt to swap that for a more universal C-slot skill. So overall, I mean, I can see some really deadly combinations working with Ninian here. She is going to have the role as a support refresher, and then in addition to that, she is going to have her own devastating capability of inflicting a good bit of damage and debuffing the enemy, and having a whole assortment of negative effects. I mean, having a cavalry dancer in general is still very, very potent. Like, that alone is still very, very potent. But the ability to self-refresh and then have all of this offensive capability tacked onto the unit as they kind of missile forward into the enemy ranks is certainly going to be quite a powerful combination. So I can see her wreaking a lot of havoc, and I can see people getting pretty creative and, dare I say, toxic with certain combinations that she can be employed with. And Ninian is going to be debuting as a green unit, and joining alongside her will be Legendary Xander and Male Byleth. Legendary Male Byleth. So, all legendary units. Xander, relatively recent addition, and quite beastly. Male Byleth has the unique capability of providing a drive null follow-up, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So, I think that there's a lot of value packed into that color, so they're doing a great job of accompanying the marquee character with some other very powerful units sharing alongside them within green. If we take a look at blue, blue has legendary female Byleth, we have Fallen Ninian, and we have Not. So Fallen Ninian is not a limited hero. She is in the regular pool, but she is quite powerful, being of the Fallen banner. And female Byleth is great. Not is very useful. That Pathfinder will never get old. So blue is actually quite good as well. And then red has legendary Lilina, Reagan, and Fallen Lilith. Fallen Lilith has her own share of shenanigans. Lilina is definitely a powerhouse nuker with her own unique AoE special. And then Reagan, everybody has, but getting additional merges is useful, certainly, and having additional Reagans could be useful for scoring as well. So there is value there, although I will say less so than getting a brand new legendary hero unit. And then we've got Colorless, Mila, as well as Ascended Florina, and Tyne. So I would certainly say that Colorless is probably the most lacking color. There's only one legendary/mythic hero, limited hero I should say, in the form of Mila. Ascended Florina is certainly powerful and would be useful to get as a new hero, especially since you're going to get that Ascended Floret. And Tyne is, don't get me wrong, I think she is a very powerful mage, and a colorless mage at that, although being in the regular pool does weight things a little bit, I think, out of their favor. So I'd say that green has the most value. You have the marquee character of Ninian, as well as two very, very powerful legendary heroes alongside her. Close behind, I would say, is the blue. You have Fallen Ninian there that's not limited, but she is, quite useful, quite powerful. And then, of course, Not and female Byleth are also going to be very, very powerful allies as well. And then behind them, I would probably put red. And then behind that, I would put Colorless. Now, that being said, I do think the banner as a whole is actually pretty good. Colorless, despite me ranking it the lowest, has a lot of value packed in there. So I do think it kind of depends on what you're looking for and what your needs are. But I do think that they did a pretty good job of balancing out the banner as a whole. So once again, starting on the 29th of September until the 12th of October. So you're going to have just about 2 weeks to summon on this banner for these units. Now, myself personally, I'm probably just going to do the first full circle, the first set of poverty pulls, and then just kind of back out. I don't think we're really going to go any deeper than that. There aren't any big ticket targets for me on the banner itself. While I do like Ninian, and I'm glad that she has a legendary version, I don't think I'm going to dive in on this specific banner to get her. But let me know in the comments below if you're excited to see Ninian finally as a legendary hero, what you think about her kit. Let me know what you think about the rest of the banner, if you're going to be summoning on it, which colors you're going to be going for, who your targets are going to be. Hopefully you all enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to leave us a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more Fire Emblem Heroes content. We thank you all so much for watching, for taking time out of your day to spend with us. We really, really do appreciate it. And until next time, let's protect those skies.